What is going on, everybody? We are back with another video. Today we're going to be finalizing the air system in the Ram 1500 that we got. It is sitting over there. I'm working on a 4-corner air system. It's loosely based on the Wifey air system. I've been working on it for about a week and a half now, slowly chipping away at it. I forgot to film an intro when I was starting this build, so we're going to go back like a couple weeks to when I started this build. So I'll be able to catch you up with some of these older clips, and then we'll jump back to today, and we're going to start with plumbing the airlines. So down here in the garage, I kind of have things laid out a little bit of how I want them to go. So this is going to be the board that I'm going to mount to the truck bed. So I'm going to try to mount everything that I can onto effectively this plate. But let me show you kind of what I got going on, because like I said, this is based off of the Wifey air system. I have my dual compressor here, and then out of that I have a 90 degree, and then I have kind of like a T connector here. And then this braided hose is going to get threaded onto here, just like so. And then at this end, it's going to connect to that block just like that. So this is my manifold. I have my pressure gauge so I can read my air pressures. I have my safety valve, which I have set to about 100 psi right now, which is the red spring on this particular one. And then this is basically to change whether or not I'm airing up or airing down. So then this will be the output that goes to the 4 corners of the truck. So in between this manifold and this hose though, I do have a ball valve so that I can keep the compressor on but stop it from inflating, and double check what my pressures are on this gauge. I got the air compressor mounted to this plate. It is bolted into the plate itself now on the back, and then I got the manifold put together with our ball valve, and then our quick disconnect at the front, or basically our redundancy here. The push to connect fittings for over here won't be here for another few days, so for today I'm working on getting this plate mounted up. So this is where the compressor is going to be going. I'm going to be mounting it directly to the truck bed back here with some rivnuts. So after exploring the options here, I think what I'm going to end up doing is putting a rivnut here and a rivnut here, and then probably another one up here. But I'm going to have to figure out how I want to space that out for now. But I'll be able to get these two in the bottom of the plate, and get those mounted up in here and figure out where I'm going to get the third. But for now, this big line that's across it right here, I'm going to go ahead and just lop that off because I don't need it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off, and then it'll be easier to fit things up in here. Alright, so I got this plate trimmed up, and it fits very, very nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and mark out my locations for where I want to actually attach the thing, and then I'm going to drill holes in the wood, and then that way I'll be able to transfer that over to the truck bed for the rivnuts. Okay, so now I'm going to do a process that I've never done before. I'm going to install some rivnuts. So I have a rivnut tool here, and I'm going to drill some holes. Start here with a pilot bit, and then use my step bit until I get to the size that I need to for this. Alright, now, so from my understanding, I thread this on here, like so, and then I put it in the hole, and then I squeeze. Right? Clearly not. Okay. Oh, hey, it's in there now. Look at that. All right, so I gotta thread it all the way on, and then it'll stay on there. So now, take one of my 420 volts, thread it right in there. Nice. There we go. It's in. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with this. Once I get everything bolted up in here, it should sit pretty flush, and it shouldn't waddle around as much as the air compressor itself will help stabilize this wood. But this looks really good. It is crazy windy out here, so I'm gonna go back into the garage and I'm gonna wrap up all the stuff on this, and then hopefully I can at least get the air compressor mounted today. So this is that little block that I was talking about that the manifold is going to end up resting on like this, so that it gives me space to actually operate it. But I'll actually be able to zip tie that in place and not really have to worry about it too much there. Alrighty, we are mounted into place now. I do think long term I am going to end up putting some bolts through up here, and just to stabilize that with some spacers. But for the most part, that is exactly where I wanted it to be. It's doing what I needed to do. So I think now I'm going to hook the harness up and then debate what I want to do in terms of actually wiring the compressor in today. Because if I can get that done, then I actually have an operational compressor and I can use it. And then I can manage to plumb the four-corner system in once all that stuff comes in. Little wiring stuff going on here. Fish that wire down so that I can pull the main power wire up from the bottom. But I'm actually going to take that line from the front solar charge controller, and I'm going to repurpose that for the trigger wire for this, because I'm not using that anymore. We have power! Air compressor works. Nice. That means at least from here to here, we're leak free. There's the fan down there. Everything's going. Nice. I've got it wired in to the switch panel up here. So now we should be off. Yep, indeed we are. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right, so now I got the power run to the compressor. That's where I'm gonna stop for today. It is super cold, it is super windy outside. I'm gonna get the airlines run probably sometime this weekend. Hopefully the weather holds out so that I don't have to roll on the ground in the cold, but it's like 20 degrees and windy outside, and I now have a functioning air system. So that's gonna be where I stop for the day. All right, so I didn't know where I wanted to put the front air chucks, but I didn't want them facing forward. So I think I'm gonna put them here in the little fog light cutout. So I'm gonna mark a little center hole here. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. That there. And then this side is the side that I'm most worried about running, just because this is the side that is going to be the furthest away from the compressor. So I'm going to go ahead and get these holes drilled and get the air chucks mounted. So these are the air fittings that I'm going to be using. These just have a Schrader valve on one side and then a push to fit air connection on the other side. So I'm going to get these mounted on the front bumper, and then I have about 100 feet of air tube sitting over here Then I'm going to go ahead and start running with the connections that I have, these other push-to-fit connectors that I have in this lovely box down here. So back up behind the bumper here, the connection is going to come out right back there on the side. So I'm going to go ahead and just drill that hole and stick the fitting through, and then I'm going to run the airline down the frame here and do my best to avoid any exhaust. And I actually might go inside that hole in the frame. I'll have to play with that. Like I said, this is the side that I am most worried about. Oh, look at that. Alrighty, so that is what my air outlets are going to look like on the bumper. So they're going to have their little cap on them, but they're just going to sit right there, and then I'll be able to plug my jumper lines into the tire. Alright, now on the back, I've got the air lines coming next to those parking sensors there. Alright, so let me show you how I've kind of got this plumbed. Right, so I've got the main feed line coming out from the truck bed here into a Y splitter. This side goes to the passenger side, and then this side is going to go to the driver's side. So then I've already got the driver's side plumbed here. So this is the driver's side rear line, and then I'm going to put the front line here. And then I've got the passenger side line running up out of the way of the exhaust, behind the bumper, and I'm going to bring it out over here. And then I'm going to tee into this and then bring it up and run it all the way up to the front. Alrighty, so a little recap here. Now that I've figured out what's going on with my suspension, I have got the outlet up in here, ready for us to use, and then I went and ran it through the frame here. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's run through the frame to get past the exhaust manifold, and then it comes right back out here. Then I got it running all the way down underneath the truck, and then it's tied in underneath of the bumper back up there at that connection. Got everything zip tied up out of the way. I don't know why this isn't adjusting, but got it all up out of the way, ready to go. And then, as you can see here, this is where I've got the air outlets on the rear bumper as well. So hopefully going to be wrapping up this last side here soon, and then I'm going to test it out tonight. All right, so I was finally able to get all four corners of the air system done. I do have a small leak in the manifold, which is keeping it from priming, so I have to figure that part out. But as you can see, I've got my main airline here coming out of here. I think my leak is coming from this slide valve here. I'm not really sure what to do about this. I'm gonna have to take the manifold apart, but for the most part, the system's here because I worked at the front corner here. Up here at the front, and I did actually get air to come out of here. So I still have to build my jumper lines to go from these Schrader valves down to the tires. But as I'm sure you saw in some of those other clips, I currently have a little suspension problem that needs fixing. So it's going to the shop today to get fixed so we can get prepped for the new camper. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, we're getting a new camper.